Well, hello and welcome to One Good Scare. This is a show where we'll look at all the latest horror movie news, action figures, comics, and generally googie? What's googie? Spooky stuff. And as ever, you're joined by myself, Peter, and James. How are you, James?
Hello, baby.
Oh, what was
What's
that?
going on?
Hang on. What was that? That was a new introduction. What was that?
It's a little Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Oh, I see.
For
I see.
reference, you know, he's in the coffin. The guy's in the coffin. Hello, baby.
Very cool. Very
So that's
cool.
how I'm going to introduce these from now on.
Before we start, just to make everybody aware, my computer has gone kaput, so I am on my son's laptop today, and I look more ghostly than ever. I don't know what the hell's going on. I feel like
You've always been a very pale white, Peter. So
This is pale. Look at it. I mean, it's making me ginger look better. I think.
I think so. Yeah. The eyebrows, though. Yeah, you look stone white in the hair. Aside from the eyebrows, they're like a
The eyebrows need a bit of a cut, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Anyway, we've got loads to get through tonight. Let's see who we've got in the chat before we start. We have got good old StreamYard. Thank you for joining. Oh, that's it. Oh, I see. I like that. We've got good old Fuzzy. Zoinks, Scoob, we're back in the dark. Yeah,
you can't say it like that. You got to say it properly. Zoinks! Zoinks, Scoob!
You are full of energy tonight, aren't you?
I know. We've not done this actually live for a while. So
you've been on the sugar again or something, haven't you? Okay, so
yeah,
Zoinks!
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Zoinks.
We'll do that.
No, I'm just well rested. I slept most of today. I slept and read Elvira comics.
I know you slept most of the day because I was messaging you from about 7 o'clock, so you're going to schedule this fucking show. But you
don't want to do it too early, you know. You gotta catch people on their lunch break scrolling on their.
I had Fuzzy messaging us saying, "What's the crack? Are you going live or what?" And I was like,
every second Friday, Fuzzy. You should know by now. You know the deal. Okay.
It wasn't advertised. Anyway, moving on. We've got Luke from Hydra Collectibles. Got rid of his message. Luke from Hydra Collectibles. Nice of you to join, Luke. I hope you are well. Fuzzy, you look like a negative. I could cosplay as Mr. Negative from Spider-Man. I like that. That'd be cool. And Luke, unfortunately, I can't say this evening. We'll catch up on the rewind. Not a problem, Luke. I hope you have a good evening doing. Probably just sorting through old videos and DVDs or some shit.
Yeah. Joe, another thing I did today. I had to go through boxes and boxes of DVDs, and you know what? Can't even fucking get rid of them. Like, I put them up for nothing, and nobody will take them.
I forgot to say to you the other night when we were recording our Fright Night, which we'll talk about in a bit. Our Fright Night show. Luke's banging on about physical media. I bought the Fright Night Steelbox DVD special edition, 15 billion hours of extras or whatever. Yeah. And the bloody thing kept. Do you know when it pauses for a second and the mouths go out of sync all the way through the friggin' thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was cursing, Luke. I was thinking physical media,
what? But like, if you don't have it on physical media, what if it disappears? Like, yeah, but your copy might break, you know, and it just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I've probably not used the DVD player or the Blu-ray player for about 15 years, so it was probably full of dust and shit. Yeah. Fuzzy, you came, you left. Exactly. Yeah. That's what my wife normally says. Okay. So and we've got Efren here. Efren's here and he's not scared. Good stuff, Efren. I hope you are well. Myself and Efren did a great show the other day with a friend of his who's writing his own horror book. So please do go check out Past Point Comics. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at Luke. Past Point Comics and our interview we did on Thursday night. It was really cool. Well worth watching and checking that book out. Luke, not my fault you buy shade.
Fair.
Fair enough. Okay, we've got lots to get through, so let's make a start, James, because there's some interesting bits and bobs. I feel like this is going to be a show about sequels. There's an awful lot of sequels being
pretty
announced.
much. It's sequels galore. The last 2 weeks or so, there's been just tons of sequels announced. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it about what they can be.
Yeah, so let's start off with this one. This is They Follow. Now, I know you're a big fan. This is the sequel to It Follows.
Yes.
I've not seen it yet. I've got it recorded, but I know we're doing a show about it, so I've got it it's on my Skybox to watch.
Yeah,
so
it's scheduled for, and I'll be right back. But It Follows, it is my favorite horror movie of the last 10 years, I think. Like, it's brilliant. But basically, it's about like a sexually transmitted monster. So like, there's this creature, and it's invisible to most people unless it's following you, and it follows the last person. Like, it's sort of like a there's a chain. So if you have it following you, you can have sex with somebody and it'll start following them. So only the person who has it and the person who gave it to them can actually see it.
Right.
So it's invisible to everybody else. And it can take various forms. Like it could be someone you know, it could be, but it just kind of walks very slowly towards you. So it's very unsettling. Like the whole movie, it's like you're looking in the background. Could that be it? Could that be it? You know, it's really
But
amazing.
Does it kill you if it gets you?
Yes, very graphically kills you. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just absolutely terrifying. Like I think an absolutely brilliant movie, and they've been talking about a sequel for a long time. Like I think the original idea was it was going to be called Follow It, and it was going to be the main character like investigating back the chain of people and like trying to find out where it originated from.
Yeah.
But they've gone a different direction, so they follow. So that implies multiple different
Yeah.
creatures. So that's I'm curious like how that like dynamically will work. In the
I
movie.
reckon. I'm just saying. I reckon it'll start off in some kind of orgy, kind of sex party type thing. And
That's one thing that I love about It Follows is like how many conversations I've had with people about how you would get rid of it. It's like, oh yeah, I just go to an orgy and like, you know, it could be to several different people. You could also just like take a plane, like just never stay in the same country more than a week, you know, or like if you stay 6 months on one side of and it just turns around 6 months on the other side, like you just keep moving back and forth, like it'll never catch you. So like, yeah, there's fun. Like I think there's some fun YouTube videos kind of gonna go into that as well. But yeah, curious. Yeah, multiple different things following you. So that'd be interesting. Micah Monroe, who's back as the lead actress. So can't wait to see her and just kind of how her life has developed. That character's developed over the last 8-10 years now.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it because you talked about it an awful lot. So I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing what I think. Efren saying sexually transmitted monsters. What the fuck?
It's just the best way, the most simple way of really explaining it. You know, yeah. No, it is Efren. It's one I think you could watch. There's not too many. That said, one of the best scares in a movie I've ever seen. One of my favorites. But it's not. It's more just unsettling as it goes. It's not like actually like, you know, super scary. So but it's creepy. Like it's very.
See, that's the kind of horror. I mean, we've talked a lot about horror, obviously, and that's the kind of horror I prefer. I like that atmospheric kind of horror more so than something else we're going to touch on later on. Terrifier, sawing people in half. You know, It Follows sounds more scary to me than a madman with an axe or whatever. Fuzzy saying It Follows is one of the few horror movies you watched and enjoyed. Clever idea and original concept and great performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
We loved it.
And the soundtrack, like it's very kind of Carpenter-esque, with like the synth kind of music, and I know Halloween is a big inspiration for it. But yeah, it's just one of the most perfectly executed movies. I'm just happy to see the director is back, the lead actress is back. It's going to be like a proper sequel. So like I'm absolutely I'm stoked. Can't wait.
Looking forward. Can't wait to watch that one. That's going to be good. And we have got that on I'll Be Right Back coming up.
Yeah, about March or so I think I have it slotted in for. So we've got kind of Christmas movies next month. And then just like Valentine's Day, we're going to do some Valentine's movies, stuff like that. Good. So like their theme. So once like we get past that, It Follows be first up.
Like Love Actually and stuff like that. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a scary movie in its own right, isn't it?
So yeah, looking forward to that one. And then we've got this Terrifier 2 director wants to get his Friday the 13th on. Now, I've not seen any of the Terrifier movies, but I have watched the trailer for tonight, and I've watched a few clips on good old YouTube. Now, I know you watched the first Terrifier just this weekend, didn't you?
I did just recently. I think I'll be talking a bit more in depth about it later on, but it sounds like a straight to DVD. Do you know what, Efren? It sort of kicked off that whole It Follows did that whole kind of elevated horror thing. Like that was one of the first ones in there. Do you know? So like it is really an artsy horror film, but yeah, it's brilliant. But like Terrifier, I don't know if he's the right fit because he's not like that first movie. I think I can't remember it's Damien something is the kind of creator of Terrifier. Really, those movies are. I haven't seen the second one, but as far as just judging off the first one, they're sort of a showcase of his special effects. Like he's not a great director, you know. So for him to go and say, "Well, I could do a really great Friday the 13th movie," it's like, well, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I like I say, I watched the trailer today. I watched a couple of scenes from Terrifier 1, and I'm probably, you know, it's unfair to judge, but I have to say from what I've seen, it didn't blow us away. It seemed very cheesy, very low budget.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like the tone of Terrifier is very pessimistic and nihilistic and mean. You know, whereas I think Friday the 13th, you have to have a bit of fun with that. like in a different kind of way than Terrifier does. Like it's not, like watching Terrifier is almost a little bit depressing, sort of. So like, I wouldn't want that kind of atmosphere in a Friday movie. Friday should be very fun party kind of, the sex and the gory kills, not just like cruel to the characters.
No, I agree. Fuzzy's just saying there that going back to It Follows, he was in his mid-30s and hitched when It Follows came out, and not 16 and eager to pop my cherry. He's also saying Terrifier always looked ridiculous to me. I liked the look of the aesthetic of it, Fuzzy, but like I say, I watched a couple of clips and I don't know. I'm going to give Terrifier one a go because we're going to review it at some point, and see what I think. But I've got a feeling it's not going to be my flavour of horror.
There's things. Again, I'll talk about it a bit more later on, and we can kind of dive into that first one. But yeah, it's I would take him doing one over not getting one at all. Yeah. I'd be curious to see what he'd do and if he'll like really stay true to the spirit of those movies. But like I'm not keen on if they're doing a movie and they're picking directors that he be the one to get it. If that makes sense. Yeah. I think have him do the special effects in it because he's incredible at that. Yeah. But like directing, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this is quite interesting. So this is Del Toro's Frankenstein, which is I think coming out relatively soon, and he's now revealed his main cast, which
I've heard nothing about this at all. So
so this is really this has been kind of in the works for a little while. I hadn't heard a great deal about it until it was mentioned on another show I was on a little while ago, and I just thought it sounds really, really cool. I love Del Toro's work. I'm going to touch on his work a little bit later on. That cast is stunning. I'm not as familiar with is it Mia Goth?
Mia Goth, from X and
Pearl. Was she in?
Pearl. She also plays Pearl, and she was in that weird Cronenberg movie I saw, with Skarsgård. That was awful. That was very strange, and she was good. She was good in it. She's always good in everything, so I think she's great casting for The Bride. So I assume Frankenstein is Oscar Isaac then, or the monster is Dr. Isaac. Dr. Isaac. Oscar Isaac is the doctor, or is the monster, and
Oscar Isaac is the monster.
Right, yes.
And Garfield is the doctor.
Just like I had an aneurysm for a second there, trying to get there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oscar Isaac is the monster, and Andrew Garfield is Dr. Frankenstein. Okay, that's is this from Universal? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm all in for that because I think that cast. Like I say, I don't know much about about Mia Goth, but the other two are first class. I mean, I love their performances, and we're getting another Frankenstein. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember what the last Frankenstein movie was. Was it probably Van Helsing? Because Frankenstein was in that, I think.
Yeah, and then there's a version in.
We had the De Niro one, didn't we? But that
the
was
De Niro one in the '90s. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Penny Dreadful had a version, I think of. Oh, there was I Frankenstein with
set in the future.
With Two-Face from the Dark Knight movies. What's his name? The actor. It's escaping me now.
I want to say it begins with his surname's an F. Help out in the chat, guys. Who plays Two-Face in the Dark Knight?
That's annoying me now. I'd usually be on top of that.
Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, is it?
Eckhart, yeah. But I think this cast looks great. I love my Frankenstein. I'm excited we're getting some of these more universal monster type characters coming back to the big screen,
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's a shame about the Dark Universe. But I mean, the Invisible Man, if this is Universal, Invisible Man was incredible. So like, I would love to see, and Del Toro, I think, is such a good choice for that kind of, especially if you're going for like a Victorian kind of aesthetic with it.
I didn't mind the Tom Cruise mummy.
I didn't hate it, and I like the idea of doing an Avengers style. Yeah. I just think they should have. It shouldn't have been modern day. Like I would have liked all of that to have been like 1800s Victorian London kind of style to that. Maybe even do them in black and white. Then make them a Tom Cruise action movie out of one of them. It's like, well, we were kind of already pivoting away from the universal monsterness of this. So that's an interesting bit of news. Looking forward to that. Now, this one's got me completely intrigued because you sent over the details about this. This is The Black Phone. I absolutely love the short story that the first movie's based on by Stephen King's son, Joe Hill, who also wrote Lock and Key, which is a tremendous comic book series. And I loved this first movie. I thought Ethan was superb in it.
but I had no clue that the greenlit a second movie.
Yes, I think it's Scott Derrickson returning for it again. He
So
dies
Ethan-
at the end of the first one, doesn't he?
Yeah, so Ethan has said he'll come back if it's the same director. He'd be interested in coming
Yeah,
back.
so I believe it is Scott Derrickson coming
But
back.
how they do that, unless it's a prequel?
Yeah, you could do a prequel of him just killing take the supernatural element away and just do him killing other kids.
Because
really
the
focus in
entire
on
shtick,
that.
the entire trick really of it being the black phone with the kids, that's not a surprise anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how, I'm struggling to understand how they can continue the story.
You can make it a character piece, I suppose. Like just really hone in, make him the kind of like horror icon in it. Like you just focus on that, like him kind of playing with the victims kind of story.
Yeah.
Prequel. I think you're probably right with it being a prequel, unless he comes back as a supernatural entity of some kind, which I suppose in this universe wouldn't really be that out of left field, But I'm really excited. I think Ethan Hawke is incredible in that movie, and it's a really cool design, just the mask with the changing kind of bottoms on it and everything. So yeah, I'd love to see a return to that universe.
Have you read the original short story?
I haven't. No.
It's worth reading. I think the short story's stronger than the movie, but the movie does a very good job of it.
Can I get it on Audible, Peter?
You probably it's part of, I can't remember which book it's in. I might have it, James, so you can have it when next time you come over, mate. It's part of a collection of short stories. So it's either 20th century ghost stories or Full Throttle, I think, is his collection of short stories.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very, very cool. Fuzzy's just jumping in here. Thank you, Fuzzy. Frankenstein's actually going to be a Netflix movie.
Oh,
that
okay.
makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So Del Toro's doing a lot of work on Netflix at the moment.
Yeah,
Again,
yes,
we're going to touch on that in a bit. But yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I loved the first movie. I'd be excited to see what they do next with it. So yeah, good stuff. This came out, I think, just a couple of days ago. Something Strange is coming soon. I'm assuming that means that we're going to get the trailer or a teaser, at least, for the new Ghostbusters movie. I've not heard much about this, to be honest. I don't know if I've just been missing the news. Have you heard much about the next Ghostbusters?
I remember a few people being cast in it, and off the top of my head, I can't remember who they were.
There was some
now.
strange ones, wasn't there? There was a couple of English actors that came a bit left field from memory. Can't remember who it was.
I remember there being some people you wouldn't expect to be in like a Ghostbusters, and there's a couple comedians in there as well.
There was definitely an English comedian that I thought, where the hell's that come from? Because that's left field. I loved the last Ghostbusters. I'm looking for anything in the Ghostbusters franchise. I'm happy to see, I guess. Can't wait to see the teaser trailer for this. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with it, but because they pulled out all the nostalgia stops on the last one, really, didn't they? So they kind of keep pulling back on that.
Absolutely. Patton Oswalt, isn't it?
Yeah, I like him.
Kumail Nanjiani
Can't remember
from
who that
Eternals.
is. Oh yes, yeah.
James Acaster.
That was it.
That's a strange.
Yeah. James Acaster.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
right.
shit's he doing in it?
That's a
weird
very left field cast. I loved Afterlife, and I've never really been a huge Ghostbusters fan. I like the idea of it more than I like the actual movies. Even though great theme song, great cast, and everything, just something about it's not really. I liked them passively when I was younger, but never really loved them, so I don't have a nostalgia for it either. But Afterlife, I really thoroughly enjoyed. Like I really had a great, absolute blast in the cinema watching that, and yeah, I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Fuzzy saying Bill Murray was definitely in the last one. Fuzzy, I can't remember seeing his name attached to this one.
He's listed on IMDb, so take
Is
that.
he?
Yeah, possibly.
I kind of hope that.
Yeah, you don't need them anymore.
Yeah, we've kind
You
of
have the new
moved on,
guys,
haven't we?
you know. Yeah,
And we did the whole nostalgia stick at the last one, so
they reunited and helped save the day.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got this.
Oh, mama.
Yeah,
Trick or Treat 2.
This is. So we've literally just been talking about Trick or Treat. We did our I'll Be Right Back episode on that, which is out now. Please go and check that out. My first time watching the movie, I thought it was superb. James, you're a big fan. And we literally talk on that show about how we can't believe there's not a second movie. And they obviously watched the show, James,
Must
and
have.
heard
Yeah.
and jumped straight into it. Yeah. So yeah, looking for it. Just before we'll talk about this, because I know you'll have lots to say on this one, James. Fuzzy's just saying, Ernie Hudson, my understanding was that he was kind of, the way the last movie ended was he'd bought the fire station, so I kind of thought he was going to be like a mentor role in it.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm a bit like you, Fuzzy, to be honest. This is going to sound terribly ageist. I don't want like a movie about the old guard anymore. I want to see new stuff, you know. So yeah, it'll be what it'll be. It'll be an interesting one. I'll definitely go and see it, I suppose. Yeah. Trick or Treat 2 and James, what are we thinking about this?
Can't wait. I and you touched on it, and I'll be right back. But like, keep the formula. You know, just 4 kind of interweaving stories. How that first movie is so it's so ingrained into it, like just surprises, like shock, like twists in them. I'd really love in this one for us that like have a group of have a female character be the lead of one of them, and then you find out at the end it was the witch girl in the first one, stuff like that. Yeah, I'd like surprise tie-ins to the original movie. I think would be really cool. Sam is definitely gonna be back. The Michael Dougherty's talked about it's gonna have like a nemesis, like a proper nemesis for him. Yeah. I'm curious if that's gonna be like another kind of supernatural like mascot character to go against him, or if it's gonna be kind of we're gonna have like a hero type character in this. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm sure there'll be some story elements that will tie into that first one. Like we'll see maybe the werewolves again or something like that. But there's just so many different other genres you can kind of, or other kind of types of horror movies you can kind of go into. Like, you know, we could do vampire. The first one kind of had a vampire thing, but like it was a fake out. But you could do vampires. You could do proper ghosts. Again, Ghost Kids is the first one. Yeah. I don't know.
I just want, like I said, I just want good little short stories, and I think we're spoilt with the last one because each one of those little stories was a banger, you know.
Yeah.
I just want them to keep that pace, you know, all interlinking somehow. It hasn't got to be for me. It hasn't got to be a massive link. I'm happy with like we had in the first one, you know. Oh, that's the characters from the first scene walking past her. That does exactly, it. That's enough of a link, really.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and I love the character of Sam. I have been looking at a 1/6 scale action figure of him.
There's a Trick or Treat Studios one, which I may also get.
It looks very cool. So. Yeah, Fuzzy, he's just saying that he's phoned his bigwig pals in Hollywood and put in a word about Ghostbusters. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Fuzzy's got all the connections. Sam will have a love interest. A squash with with a sack on her head. Possibly.
If you were to have any of the tales from the first one continue on, which would you pick? Like a Sam excluded because he's a constant to these. So you could go for the witch girl.
Yeah, do you know what?
You go for the son of the serial killer.
The son of the serial killer.
You'd want to see that one?
I want to see him because I think that would play really nicely because it's however many years since the first movie. He's grown up, he's living in that house and he's continuing on his father's kind of words. He might have a family of his own by now. I don't know. How old's the first movie?
2007, so 15 years. So he'd be in his late 20s.
Yeah. So, you know, I really liked that storyline. The werewolf story was great, but it's a standard werewolf story. Do you know what I mean? There's not much you can... I like them all. The Ghost Kids were cool as well. I'd like to see them back somehow. Yeah,
but I think the movie kind of ends with their resolution there, you know, of killing the bus driver fella. So
unless the son of the teacher guy is going to be Sam's nemesis somehow, maybe he's going to be the.
Well, that'd be cool. We'd like to see that. Yeah. And I think it'll have I can't imagine just sitting in the cinema waiting for this to start. It's gonna be great. I hope it doesn't take too long. These don't seem like the type of movies that take that long to make. I think we'll have this Halloween in the next 2 years. I think so. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one.
Awesome.
And then we mentioned last time that we're at Love of Horror in a week or two. Well, next week we'll be there. This time next week. So myself and James are going on the Friday, and we're going to take part in the Love of Horror opening show, disco.
It's not a disco, Peter. You make it sound like everybody's going to have afros and
there'll be prefects. The teachers will be checking, to make sure that we're not drinking. It's great. And then there's also going to be a live viewing of Lost Boys with some of the original cast. So really
Jason
looking
Patrick,
forward to that.
particularly.
Yeah.
So, and we're 100% Sexy Sax Man's going to be there doing his Still
Yeah.
Believe.
Yeah, he's there all
And that
the
song
time,
is so
isn't he?
good live. Yeah. So I can't wait
So
to
that's going to
hear
be fun. I wanted to just mention, but we've had another kind of last minute booking, and this is a gentleman from the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
So
No,
has this
from,
excited
Saw.
you? No, sorry, Saw franchise.
Saw.
Yeah.
This is the Hoffmanator from the Saw movies. So he's like Jigsaw's kind of other apprentice who kind of comes in. He's sort of the lead villain of the kind of 4, 5, 6 onwards.
Yeah.
Awesome actor, really great. He's only like £30 or something for an autograph as well. Like, so I'll go in and I'll get a picture or an autograph, and I'll see on the day. Maybe both. There is quite a lot of guests that meeting, so I'm not sure. But
I did think so. The image that, for those of you that don't follow the love of horror, they always put kind of teaser images up, and they put an image of Alan Sugar with his two supporters, so being the apprentice kind of thing, I thought we are 7 days still away. Really, I wonder if we're going to get one of the female supporters as well.
The Shawnee Smith, as in from
Yeah,
Commander.
yeah.
So she and Tobin Bell were at the first, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They were at one of the earlier ones. So I think they haven't had that many repeat guests. Like they're working their way through kind of people first, and then hopefully they go back because there's so many guests from like earlier ones that I missed. Like Tobin Bell, I'd love to meet. Tom Atkins, obviously, he's top of my list. But yeah, no, he's just such a cool. This is just such a cool character. Like I think it'd be cool.
He's one of the main characters, Fuzzy, in the Saw movies. I don't know
main
what
villains.
else he's been.
He's Jigsaw in the later kind of movies.
Yeah.
Like he's the Jigsaw killer in it.
So yeah, very cool. Looking forward to seeing him. Right, trailers, James. What the shit? Talk about this.
Terrifier 3 has been revealed, and it's a Christmas movie. So yeah, there is like a teaser trailer. It's not been officially released yet, but you can watch kind of like cinema rips of it on YouTube and stuff. So we kind of had a gander, and it's art. Oh, sorry, it's a little girl goes down the stairs, and it's that kind of classic setup. It's you see the Santa kind of like at the Christmas tree, kind of like putting things down or picking things up, whatever, and the camera pans around, and it's Arsh with his little big stupid grin, and then the next shot is him like bloodied sitting on a. Is he eating milk and cookies and stuff? I think is
eating milk
that's
and
the whole
cookies.
idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. Having kids in this, I think, is a bit questionable.
Well,
these movies are so.
I think that trailer is probably the start of the movie. So the director has kind of come out and said the first 5 minutes of the movie he never thought he would be allowed to do because it's so bad and so kind of off the wall. The only thing I can think of really is like a mass killing of children. Do you know what I mean?
Slaughters some kids like on screen.
Yeah, would be pretty. Yeah.
Is that in bad taste though? Like real, like I know
these movies.
Nothing about these movies are in good taste. I know,
yeah.
But like, is that not maybe a bit unnecessary? Like, I feel like that might even turn off some fans.
Shock value, isn't it? It's absolute shock value, and that's what I think this movie's going for at the moment. So I don't know. I watched the trailer. It's. I like my horror. I'm not necessarily into this style of horror, the masses of blood and gore and stuff like that. Isn't my scene really. I'll watch it, but I can't say it kind of grabbed us as I must go and see this straight away.
Yeah, I still haven't watched the second one. I will probably in the next week or two, and then we'll probably this is coming out on October 25th. So we'll probably throw and I'll be right back for the second movie around then. So you'll have the opportunity to watch it as well. But yeah, I'm not sure it's in good taste to have killing kids. I'm iffy about the idea of them being in it, to be honest. And like I don't like this character interacting with them at all. Like so we'll see how it's done in the movie, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess we're just guessing at that. That might not be the case.
Very very true. Like I have to say I do like the imagery of him in the hat. Like the Santa hat. The poster is awesome. The poster is fantastic with the Santa face over the bottom and all. But yeah,
Fuzzy's bang on here. The only thing worse than crap films is seasonal crap films. You'll watch it once and never again.
Well, I mean, the whole point is to hook people to want to watch it every year, isn't it? Like that's the kind of idea. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know about you, James, but I after I watched the trailers and stuff, and I thought I don't know enough about this guy, so I did a little bit of a Google and went on Wiki and read the synopsis for Terrifier 1 and then Terrifier 2.
I'm surprised it has a synopsis because there's no
Terrifier 2 is just mental. I mean, it reads ridiculous. It's beyond silly, you know, in terms of. I'm not going to spoil it. Spoiling it.
Well,
You
no,
know,
there's sort of I know there's sort of
witchcraft,
biblical elements to it because I've seen
resurrections,
characters wearing armor and stuff like that. You know, so like there's
it sounds mental, but beyond horror mental. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, it's
The thing is, in the first movie as well, and this is something I dislike about it is I like in horror movies when the people that die horrendously, like really awfully, somewhat deserve it. Like, or are bad people, or have been kind of acting shittily or something.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not like, oh, that's terrible that this is happening to them, you know, but like in Terrifier, like there are examples of that. But there are some characters that are just like they didn't deserve this to happen to them at all. Like
yeah, interesting. He's a massive cultural icon now, but isn't he? A lot of people love this character. So
I can see that I get it. I'm not there yet, but I get why it's kind of connected with people.
Yeah, and I guess I feel bad kind of judging because I haven't seen the film yet, so I'll have to watch the movie and then I'll make my mind up. I'll try and get it watched. I wanted to mention this. This is from Asmus Toys. This is a zombie 1/6 scale action figure. I don't know if this is linked to any movie property or anything. I couldn't.
Well, Asmus are an official
so
licensed company. So,
but I thought at first, is it Walking Dead or is it a video game or something like that? Codename Dave. I mean, it's not one that jumps out.
Dave the zombie, yeah. Dave the
But
zombie.
I have to say, it's a pretty cool figure. I like the fact that you can remove his rib cage. So you'll see that image there. You can see his rib cage. You can actually take that out, and you can see all these decomposing organs and stuff in the side of him there. He comes with a drip stand and a little respirator mask and things. I think the work on the zombie's face and stuff's really, really cool. Not for me, but if you were doing a kind of a Walking Dead setup or something like that, I think it's a pretty good figure, to be honest.
Yeah, I think just having a generic zombie character is a good idea because you can just match them with so many different other figures that you have. I feel like I suppose maybe this is to get them to buy other figures, but to have like swap out clothes, so it's not necessarily an inmate character. You could have just like a pair of torn up jeans or something like that. But no, the sculpt looks great. I think the design, the kind of it's halfway between comic booky and real looking, which I quite like as well. And yeah, it's a cool. Some cool accessories with it, so yeah, I dig it. I don't have any, wouldn't really fit with The Last of Us or anything like that, so I have nothing really to pair it with. But like, it's if I had a Walking Dead display, I'd probably pick up one of these to go with that.
Yeah. It is pretty cool. But again, not for me. Fuzzy, I think cultural icon is a stretch, Peter.
Well, I would say a modern horror icon. I think that's not an unfair statement to make. Like, you should have seen last year at the horror convention, like people were going ballistic over him.
He was actually at the HorrorCon last year, wasn't he? In full.
Yeah, he did an in costume photo op and everything. And they're just like everyone was like dressed as like there's Terrifier shit everywhere. Like people were going crazy. I think because the second movie was just coming out as well. Or had just come out, so people were kind of really geared for it.
These are pretty cool. So first of all, just to mention, the Ghostbuster HasLab has now been funded. We talked about this on our toy show earlier in the week. Pretty cool, and it will be getting made. So that's good news for anybody that's back.
What toy show would that be, Peter?
That would be Let's Talk. I've forgotten the name of it. Let's Talk Toys.
And where can people watch that? Because people watching this might not necessarily know where that is.
Everybody knows where Triple G Comics is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny, Fuzzy watching. Fuzzy knows where Triple G Comics is. You know what I mean?
Barrier eventually, Peter. You got to think about it.
And then we've got these figures. These are the figures that, the little one that you mentioned last week.
This was the one I nearly paid 300 quid for. They just released it for $75 with a signed button from the actor. And I didn't even buy it.
So it's actually it's a coaster. It's like a beer mat.
Yeah,
so
but you're not gonna use it as one because it's got an autograph on it. You just stick it next to the.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just have him sign the actual boxes.
It's mad, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool, I suppose. And then you've got 2 1/4 scale figures. You've got a Freddy there with an open shirt, which I quite like.
That's Dream
Warriors. Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
And then you've got a good Halloween figure there as well. 1/4 scale, not something I'll pick up, but quite nice to have that option, I guess, if you want them from NECA.
Yep.
But yeah, quite cool. comic books. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. So I know some of the guys in the chat may have picked this up. I don't know if they've read it yet. Fuzzy, if you've read it, drop us a comment and say what you thought of it. This is Dracula by James Tynion, with art by Martin. Is it Simonson? I can't remember. Simmons. Is it Simmons? There's a D in there.
Simmons.
So he did the artwork for Last House on the Lake. Is it Last House on the Lake?
The Nice House on the Lake?
Nice House on the Lake, yeah.
Jesus, you're supposed to be
I'm
the
struggling,
expert here.
honestly. Well, I've got no fucking blood in my body. Can you not see? My brain's not working. So this is a kind of a retelling or their version of Dracula, based on on Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it kind of plays with the mythology a little bit. The artwork instead is, if it's your kind of cup of tea, it's stunning. Some people don't necessarily like this kind of painted style. I thought for this particular book, it worked tremendously well. I really liked some of the imagery in it. The story is not, I don't want to say slow, but it's kind of telling the tale and setting the scene a little bit. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really thought it was a nice kind of retelling of the original tale. I thought the artwork was stunning. The imagery of Renfield at the start, the kind of drawn with a white, a bit like me now actually, with this stark white face where you can't see his nose or anything. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's interesting. I was curious now, because if this was going to be, I assumed it was a follow-up of some kind, rather than just it's a straight-up retelling. Is it like, because it's the Universal Monsters branding, is it Bela Lugosi? Like, he looks like Bela Lugosi. It's 100% that version.
Well, it's the art style. You can't really tell at this point. We've not really seen a proper full-on picture of Dracula other than those ones you see there, kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting. It is part of the Universal Monsters line. Really excited about this. I think this is going to be really cool.
Where does it end? Is it like a quarter of the way into the Dracula, like where the movie would be, or is it kind of?
It's very much just the initial telling of it's not picked up from the original Dracula movie. Do you know the Keanu Reeves movie? You haven't seen any of that.
I love how you refer to that. You're referring to the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula as the Keanu Reeves one.
Yeah, it's Keanu, isn't it? Whoa.
Not the Gary Oldman movie, no.
Yeah. No, that's Keanu.
Not the Coppola version.
With his incredible English accent. Yeah, it's a good book, worth a read. Couple of comments here. Fuzzy saying he loved this. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Fuzzy, I thought it was very, very cool. Jack thought it was a little bit boring. I can see that, Jack. If you're not a big lover of the Dracula tale and the mythology, I guess it feels a bit slow paced. But yeah, I thought it was very cool. Fuzzy, my missus even picked it up and read. Wow, that's really cool. I read it after you. Very, very good. And Fuzzy didn't feel it was slow. I loved it. I thought it was really good. This is the kind of book that I am going to buy it physical issues, and it's got some stunning covers, by the way, some incredible covers. Fuzzy, did you mention in the comments, did you pick up the Scotty cover to this? Because the Scotty cover is superb. It looks really cool. But this is the kind of book I'm going to want to get in hardback, hopefully in a larger format, just to drink in that artwork. Because the art is
ironically,
I
want to drink your artwork.
I want to drink the artwork. It's just beautiful.
So this is they're doing Dracula. Is the other one Creature from the Black Lagoon, or what's the other one that they're starting with? Yeah. And then
there's a host. I'm just realising I've been talking out of bollocks as well. This is not the artist from Nice House on the Lake. He didn't do that. He does Department of Truth with Tynion.
Right.
Which is it's a hard read. I have to say, Department of Truth.
I'm gonna pick this one up though. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I might like to get a few issues in first.
So I've got that cover because these are scans of my book. But I've also picked up 2 of the blank covers to take to Thought Bubble and hopefully get some artwork done on them. Fuzzy's just saying, I noticed the interview with the Vampire Show on iPlayer. Is it any good? Ooh, not seen that.
Heard of it. I've not really heard anyone comment good or bad on it. So I'm not sure.
I'm a big fan of the original movie, Tom Cruise, which is very, very cool. But I haven't seen the new one, mate. I'm not sure. Yeah. Jack saying, not bad actually, Fuzzy, worth a watch. Very cool. Okay, I might watch that one as well. That's maybe one we can watch, James, and talk about it at some point. Because I do like Interview with the Vampire.
I ain't got time. I still have to catch up on Chucky, man.
You
I'm
can get it.
not pivoting for.
Now,
Interview with the
you
Vampire.
just decided you want boobs. That's what you were saying to us. You said you wanted something with boobs, so you went for Elvira.
No, I wanted a hostess with the mostest who's got
You said
that
boobies.
yeah. No, I don't know why. I've just been in a very big Elvira mood lately, and just kind of I've been watching kind of the movie Macabre from the 80s, a lot of that, and yeah, I decided to pick up some of the Dynamite comics. I was going to jump into Elvira in Horrorland, and then I the first page I realized, oh, there's stuff preceding this. I better go check that out. And I kind of went back further and further. I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of this. But no, I started with Mistress in the Dark, so that's 12 issues. Fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Like I think that, you know, they have a really fun atmosphere in this. It's very kind of Deadpool, Harley Quinn style to it. She's constantly breaking the fourth wall, like critiquing the writers for like story beats and stuff like that. It's just an absolute blast. So, like the first kind of few issues, the first volume is she is going through time being chased by Dracula, and she's like meeting different horror kind of auteurs. So she meets like Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe and Bram Stoker and stuff. So like that's really fun. Second volume is she's in hell and she has to like escape. And the third one is like she has like a broom. She's like kind of, because she's got like demonic aura because she was in hell and these cult people are like after her and stuff. So it's really fun. Then Shape of Elvira is the follow on to that. So that's like a play on The Shape of Water, you know, the Del Toro movie. So she's like cast in this movie, and there's this, it's supposed to be a love story between a woman and like a monster, and the monster is like an actual monster, but she doesn't know. And so, it's just really fun. Like it so clearly is like a real monster, but he's just like, oh, it's a secret tank that's feeding them and stuff. So that's really fun. So I just finished that, and I've moved on to I don't have it here at the moment, but Vincent Elvira meets Vincent Price, so I'm just an issue into that one now, and that's really fun. And just I think just reading it with his voice like coming out of it is really good, and they're kind of two fun characters thrown to each other. So I'm gonna just blast through this till I get to the Horrorland ones, but just fantastic. Like really captures like the spirit of that character really well.
I feel that I'm completely oblivious to Elvira, or I was, completely oblivious to Elvira until I started reading the latest run, about the same time as Fuzzy, which must be the Horrorland run, where she's meeting kind of different iterations of werewolves and vampires and things like that. And it's superb. I don't understand how I've missed it so far. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so well written, so funny. And just an entertaining book, you know. I haven't read the latest issue. The last issue I read was the one where she was fighting Godzilla and things like that.
Right, so Horrorland is the one that's running, because there's Monsterland as well. Is Monsterland or Horrorland that's on now?
Oh, I don't know. So I'm not sure which one it is I'm reading.
Right, okay.
Like I say, I haven't read the latest issue, but she's basically, the first issue she met kind of variations of movie versions of vampires, then movie versions of werewolves and things like that.
That's Monsterland, I would assume, and then
so
Horrorland, because I know Horrorland, she's like in The Shining, and she's in like stuff like that.
So I'll go back and read those, because I've been really enjoying them.
What a great! It's I was reading it because I got her book on audiobook, so I'm going to listen to that when I finish the Friday Night book. But I was reading about like how she like pitched the gall of this, right? She pitched an animated series to Netflix and Shudder, and they both said no. And I'm like, fucking Shudder, like had the opportunity to have an Elvira cartoon series, like Harley Quinn style, and they said no. Like that's just absurd to me. And I think because I think she is somewhat involved in the writing of this. There are bits where she's like pitching stuff to studio execs, and they're saying no, that's too expensive. And I think, well, that's her just kind of venting about that kind of stuff. But it's like, I think it's unfortunate that there's not more Elvira stuff out there, because I think Cassandra Peterson really wants to do it, and just feels like they just won't take a swing on it. Like
I will definitely be going back and reading certainly Horrorland. Fuzzy's just confirming it's Monsterland I've been reading. Yeah. But what I would say is the artwork in that is phenomenal. I mean, it really is. When you look at, like I say, I don't know if it's the same in Horrorland, but say the werewolf issue, there's images of different werewolves from all kinds of different movies. Right. But the artistic interpretation of them is bang on. You know immediately what film they're referencing, you know? It's just really, really cool. Jackson just started watching Terrifier in the background, got 20 minutes in before realising I was watching it in Italian.
It would take you that long to realise. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, I just wanted to mention this. This is Blood Commandment by our good friend Simon. Oh, I was getting his name wrong. I do apologise, Simon.
Kudransky?
Kudransky. Yeah, Simon really kind of came to my attention because of his work on Something Epic, which is just an amazing read. I'd recommend everybody picks this up, that up. And then this is his latest book, Blood Commandment, that I know, again, some of the guys in the chat are keen to read. Simon very, very kindly sent me a digital copy of this to kind of have a look at. And it's amazing. It's out now, so you can pick this up now. It is a really, really cool storyline. His artwork, I mean, you can see that image there. I struggled to find an image that wouldn't necessarily spoil too much of the story for you. The next panel from this is got red blood splatter, which is amazing.
Just like the depth of field of it and everything is so
his
well
artwork,
realized.
honestly, his artwork is amazing. This is basically the story of kind of a remote village where you get the backstory of a father and son, and the father teaching his son to hunt deer, and the son kind of saying, I don't want to kill animals and things like that. And it becomes very clear that the mother has passed away a few years earlier, and they're kind of living by themselves in this remote little nowhere town. And then things start to go a bit awry, and somebody visits the town, and there's a revelation about the father that comes totally left field, and it's got us very excited to read on, got us very excited to read the next few issues. This reads to me like a Netflix series. You know, you could put this into an action series straight away. It's superb. Fuzzy's just saying, mine was just released today. Oh, the Lost Boys cover was cancelled. Oh, I didn't hear that, Fuzzy. That's a shame, because that's a stunning cover. That's the other thing this guy does. He does variant covers for a lot of
This is very Fright Nighty, that cover.
Yeah,
I think, isn't it? So
he does some stunning variant covers. He did that for Something Epic as well, some buttes. This guy's artwork is breathtaking. I love watching him sketching on his Insta. Yeah, he's just... And do you know what? When you do this kind of stuff, these internet shows and all this kind of stuff, you quite often kind of at people in the comments and stuff like that. He's one of the only kind of writer stroke artists who've been really proactive and kind of messaging and getting back and saying, oh, I'm pleased you like the book, and commenting on comments. And
nice.
I know Fuzzy's had the same experience. If he's put a post up saying I've enjoyed this, he's then reposted it and kind of said thank you and stuff. You know, he just feels like a proper, genuine, nice guy. So yeah, I love it. I really would recommend people pick up this series. I remember watching Insomnia once and not enjoying it because my scar lead wasn't in properly. So everything was... Holy Fuzzy. Fuzzy saying this was the Last of Us homage. Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah. Fuzzy sent me the book. Yeah. I have to go buy that now. Yeah. Actually, it was really cool.
And Fuzzy saying, yeah, he replies to everything. Yeah, he seems like a genuinely nice guy for a big time, writer artist as well. He's working for Image Comics. There are other people who, won't give you the time of day. So yeah, it's nice. Hopefully I'm going to get him on This Is My. He said he'll do that when his workload calms down a bit. So that'll be cool. Okay. Please do check that out. Jack, I completely agree. Scar lead, throwback that. Yeah, very cool. Okay, James. So we've talked about this briefly already, but tell me, this is what you've been watching this week.
So I was on Halloween. I was over at my mate's house with a big projector, and we were just like, all right, we'll watch some horror movies. And we were kind of scrolling through, and I stuck up Paramount Plus, and Terrifier was on there. So we don't watch Terrifier. And my other mate was like, ugh, I've seen it. So I was like, all right, this sounds bad already. But I was like, oh, fuck it, we'll put it on, and we can have a few beers and watch, like, just chat during it. Stuck it on. I know people love this, but this first one is barely a movie. Like, it's just, I feel, a collection of scenes, and nothing's really happening except people just get killed. There's not really any character developments in it at all. It's just unnecessarily cruel, I feel like, to the characters, like almost in the way Hostel kind of is. I think the acting is abysmal, bar from David Howard Thornton, and one of the lead characters I think is decent but not great. it's just mean. It's just so mean spirited. Like it feels very much like. And to be fair, now the budget was like 35 grand or something, which is nothing to make a movie, especially with this kind of level of effects, and the effects are incredible. But yeah, no, it's just it just looks cheap. Like it looks really like a YouTube short film, like, you know. So it's Arsh himself, I see the appeal. I get why people love him, because he's kind of dark and twisted, but like the humor, and it clicks. I'm not quite there yet, but I enjoyed a lot of that character on screen. I just feel like there's not much more to this than the kind of gore, and the cruel kills in it, you know.
I mean, you're not selling it to us, because that's the exact opposite of what I look for.
Oh, you'll hate this. You'll absolutely hate this. I know you will. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll watch it, and we'll see what we think. I feel like I've got to watch it because everybody keeps telling us how great it is. You know what I mean?
Do they? Do people say how great it is?
Yeah.
People like it, but I don't know if that first one particularly is considered like a good movie.
This is the one with the lady chained upside down?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all people ever talk about, really.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's the most noteworthy thing from this movie, because everything else is very much like hatchets and faces and stuff like that. Yeah. Whereas that one's like a creative, you know. And to be fair, it's a I don't know if cool kill is. It's a very interesting, unique, impressive kill. But yeah, just cruel. Just like that character didn't really do anything wrong in the movie at all, you know.
Okay.
So, all right.
Right. I shall watch it and see what I think, and then we'll talk about it. I wanted to mention this briefly. Now, this has been out for a while, really, but I've kind of only just finished it. This is on Netflix. This is The Cabinet of Curiosities by Del Toro. A collection of 8 short stories, really. Have you seen any of these, James?
I haven't, even though I love the kind of macabre style of it. Like, so I don't know why I haven't sat down to actually watch it yet.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Well, it's really, really interesting, because there are some excellent episodes in this, and then there's some just awful ones. It's very inconsistent, I think. I love the framing of it. I love how it starts. It's very reminiscent of your Crypt Keeper kind of thing. So Del Toro kind of starts every episode and introduces the episode, you know,
host,
which I really like.
Yeah.
It's very kind of not Vincent Price. What do you call him? Who did Psycho? Alfred Hitchcock. It's very Alfred Hitchcock. He kind of, and I'm going to be really unkind because I am a large man myself, but he kind of waddles on, you know, in kind of says something. He's not a great actor. He looks like he's kind of, he looks like, you know, you say that. Oh, sorry, I feel terrible now. Do you know when you say like those really, really bad auditions off the X Factor, where someone kind of comes on and looks just like they've wandered off the street? He's a little bit like that. Do you know what I mean? He kind of comes on and looks scarily.
Now, does he just kind of host these and produced it, or has he directed all these?
I don't know if he directed them.
Because like, it's Guillermo del Toro's, because he's the host of this.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, these are hitty missy, I think. Some of them have got great effects, some of them have got appalling effects. The one with giant rats running around underground,
that's the poster that drew me in here.
It didn't out for me, that one.
Right.
The Outside was a really good one. That was interesting, about a lady who becomes obsessed with kind of trying to look younger and stuff. The Viewing is excellent. That's kind of a dead body in your, well, I'm going to spoil it, but a dead body and a guy doing a kind of a examination on it, and well, that leads to it. The rest of them are kind of a bit hit miss for me. I was quite disappointed with some, I guess, with what I would say. Jack is just saying Del Toro is very, very miss or hit sometimes as Rob Zombie. Yeah, you either love him or you hate him. I'm not a fan. Yeah, mate.
I love him. I think he's great.
This I'd be interested in you watching some of these, James, and seeing what you think, because they are hit and miss. Fuzzy, I find that with Black Mirror, for every few good episodes, there's a couple that just
same with every anthology. I think, really, you know, it's how the idea hits you, even. But
I agree with Fuzzy, but what I would say, Fuzzy, I don't know if you've seen the latest season of Black Mirror. I thought that was pretty strong throughout. I can't remember many I didn't enjoy.
Do they connect in any way? Is there little nods
No.
between them? No,
No.
they're completely separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different timelines, different eras.
Right, okay.
It's kind of all over the place,
Yeah.
you know. There's some good actors in it, some impressive cast. Yeah. But I think you're right, James. I think whenever you've got an anthology kind of show, you're going to have stronger and not as strong episodes. I guess all I would say is some of the not strong episodes for me were really, really quite bad. And
But
again,
then you don't
that's
need
the
to.
same.
You don't need to watch all of them as well.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah,
can just watch one if you
exactly.
want
You
to.
can skip, can't you? That's the same, I guess, as American Horror Stories. So the anthology that they put in, some of them are superb, and then others are dreadful. So yeah, I hope it gets a second season. I haven't heard of anything because I like this style of storytelling. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
So we have a standalone video about Five Nights at Freddy's where we talk kind of spoilers, but we'll just talk like briefly for a minute here maybe about it. Dog shit. I've grown to hate it more and more as time has gone on, and like the more distance I've gotten, the more I dislike it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
Yeah,
I'm the same. You know, and again, I think please do go check out the show we did. Bottom line for me here is, and it's still not a great movie, but if you're gonna watch this or the Nick Cage Willy's Wonderland, watch Willy's Wonderland. It's still not great, but it's better than this cack. I'm the same as you, James. The further away from watching this I am, the more irritated I'm becoming with it.
Yeah.
The more
And now people
disappointed I am.
are like, oh, did you see Five Nights at Freddy's? And I'm just going, yeah, it was terrible. I'm just like, I don't remember thinking it was terrible leaving the cinema, but now I think it's terrible just as time has gone on. But it's just in nonsensical. It's not very scary. You know, there's some shit characters in it. It's lots
You've
of
seen all the
potholes
scares in the trailer.
pretty much like, and yeah. You know, one thing I'll say I kind of appreciate more now after having learned this is that the Jim Henson company did the animatronics, and those are actual animatronics in the movie. Yeah. And I think the animatronic stuff is all praiseworthy. Like they look great.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's one thing. But it's
I
no
think,
real story to it. Like it's a bit.
You know, we talk about this on our other channels about how big fans we are of other franchises, whether that's Marvel, Star Wars, The Last of Us, whatever. There's no getting away from the fact that this is a huge franchise that a lot of people love and are invested
100%.
in.
Yeah.
I would imagine this must be pretty. This is the Thor Love and Thunder for them. Do you know what I mean? It's just not a good movie, I think.
No, I think it's just delivered a movie. And I think the quality of the movie was somewhat irrelevant for a lot of the fan base because a lot of the fan base are quite young. I'm sure people walked out of the cinema loving it. So I'm just scared for the next one. And it's done very well box office wise. I think it opened at #1.
It did. Yeah. It's
the highest opening of a horror movie of the year, I think, as well. And you've had some amazing horror movies this year, you know. So it's kind of mad. So we'll get a sequel. Hopefully the sequel does better. But I think at a director with a bit of a vision and some style to and make it scary. Lean into the scariness.
Make it a horror. Make it a bit of horror.
Yeah.
Sean's saying he saw Summerthud instead. Not heard of that one, Sean. Don't know what that is.
I don't know that one either. My mate keeps banging on about this one called Cat. It's Cat People or Cat Person or something like that. That he said
I'm going to see. I've got free tickets on Tuesday to go and see a Nicolas Cage movie where apparently he's in everybody's dreams or something.
Is this the A24 one?
No. What?
A24 is producing.
No, it's called Dreams or something. Apparently he's in everybody's dream. I don't know. It's free tickets. I only watched that review because I like you both. So thanks, Fuzzy.
Finally,
Thank
confirmation.
Thank you, Fuzzy.
I've earned approval.
Yeah. Some Motherhood, very funny. Okay, not heard of it, mate. Have to check that one out. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, bollocks.
Yeah, shite.
Wanted to just briefly end on this. We've talked a little bit about vampires tonight in terms of the Dracula comic, and myself and James, you'll see it at the end of the show, have been talking vampires on another show that we're going to be promoting later on. And I guess I just wanted to get your take on vampires, James, about what you think of them, whether they float your boat. For me, I'm a big vampire fan. I got hooked very early age. Sorry, Prof, I'm just noticed. Prof Strangefinger, name one good movie based on a video game.
Go on, Peter.
James?
Make the joke. Make the joke. Go on. Say it.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say it. I'm
alright,
not going to say
thank
it. But
you.
yeah, I
Alright.
agree with Fuzzy.
Mario's good.
was very good. I quite liked Sonic. Quite liked Sonic.
I like Sonic is great as well. Yeah. I mean, last not movie, but Last of Us
of Us.
obviously is the best example you can give.
Tomb Raider. Quite liked it. Some of the Tomb
I
Raider
liked
movies.
Tomb Raider, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
even
vampires.
remember-
So
Say again.
sorry, vampires. Saying what you were saying.
Yeah. So I'm a massive fan of vampires. I got obsessed with vampires with Buffy, obviously, back in the day. Loved that series. I thought it was absolutely superb. Big fan of Bram Stoker's original Dracula. I just like the mythology of them, I guess. And I put the images up there because we've seen some recent vampire interpretations in Nicolas Cage's superb Dracula in Renfield, which I loved. But I didn't know. Have you seen the other chap I've got there, James? The BBC.
That's Dracula with an
three-parter?
iPad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the first episode. I liked as Van Helsing. It was that German actor. He's in
Yeah.
Von Strucker in the Marvel movies. I like him a lot, so yeah, having him in there. But yeah, the Nick Cage version of Dracula was just pitch perfect. Like I love that. Like he really leaned into the Bela Lugosi'ness of it, but he made it his as well. So yeah, that was great.
Fuzzy's mentioning a series here, which again I don't know if you've seen, James. True Blood.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and people bang on about it. They love it.
It's
Like
so good. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's me and my wife watched that from season 1, and it's got everything you might want in it. It's got vampires, werewolves, witches, all kinds of stuff. And it really is a superbly written, interesting take on vampire lore. It's just amazing. It's well worth a watch.
I like the idea of they're living out in the open.
Yeah.
And like, a company makes blood and puts it in the thing for like that. That's just such a clever, like when you kind of take that what if and you take those extra 5 steps from that.
Yeah.
I love when things like that. But like I touched on this in our Fright Night video. I like my vampires in sort of like Victorian Gothic settings,
Yeah.
Like I love, and I know it's a bad movie, but I really like the style of the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing. That's kind of how I like this. Yeah.
I love it.
That's how I like the style of these. So that's why I tend to lean into. But there's some modern ones like I like, Blade. Obviously, like it's a fantastic representation of vampires. What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite comedy movies. That's just absolutely
I prefer
hilarious.
the TV show to the movie.
I've not watched the TV show.
I prefer the TV show is far superior. 30 Days of Night is amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Based on a
absolutely.
graphic novel, obviously. Stunning story.
Byzantium is one I forgot about. I think they filmed that in Dublin, I think.
Right.
But it's Gemma Arterton and I think it might have been Saoirse Ronan as well. But it's like I remember liking it coming out of the cinema.
Yeah. And also, go back to it. Good old Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Keanu Reeves movie. It's got some incredible special effects in it as well. For the time.
Absolutely. And like I love watching behind the scenes of how they filmed some of that with like they used old style like rear projection and forced perspective, like massive props zoomed in a way that it looks like it's just close up and things like that. Fantastic. I liked Dracula Untold.
So did I.
I thought it was it was a fun kind of like action revenge.
And I liked
movie,
again my old brain might be deceiving us, but I think is that the one where it tried to explain why vampires have the aversion to the cross, and it was because Dracula had been there when Jesus was nailed to the cross or something like that. I think there was some religious link. They tried to explain why the link to the cross was.
Are you sure it's in that? Because it isn't Dracula's from like 1400s. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember.
Dusk Till Dawn is a great one.
We need to add that to a list for movies to review.
Yeah. Just the way like the first half of the movie is just like a Tarantino-esque crime movie, and then it just flips halfway through. I think is brilliant.
At the Titty Twister, I love that movie.
The Titty Twister, yeah. You know the guy with the dick, gun. That's Tom Savini who did the
Yeah.
who did the Friday 13th effects. Yeah. It's a great movie. Yeah.
So we're a fan of the old vampire movies. And again, if you just want a bit of a piss take and you want a bit of fun, Leslie Nielsen, you can never go wrong with Leslie Nielsen. Dracula Dead and Loving It is just funny as anything. It's worth a watch for a giggle. And obviously, as we've mentioned, Interview with the Vampire is super.
Why not put Twilight up here? Someone was looking for it earlier.
It's bullshit. That's why. It's bullshit. It's not proper vampires. They're not vampires.
I think, and I'll stand by this, Eclipse is genuinely a great movie. So
Jesus Christ.
Just Eclipse. The rest of it was actually the director of 30 Days a Night did it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I would argue that Blade 2 is one of the best vampire action movies I've ever seen. I love Blade 2. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah. Guillermo, there you go.
Yeah. Need to go back and rewatch that one as well. Just jumping in the comments, lots and lots of support of True Blood here, James. You need to get on that, mate.
It's long though.
It is, but just watch the
5
first few.
seasons on it.
Honestly, watch the first few episodes and you'll be hooked. Also, I would say some of the most disturbing, engaging opening credits that you'll watch in a movie of creatures decomposing and the songs it's just mint. It's just mint. Yeah. A couple of comments here. Prof Strange, Strange Finger. I haven't seen mate. Talk to me yet, but I have the Blu-ray downstairs. Right, once we're finished, go downstairs, turn your lights off, and watch Talk to Me.
Brilliant.
It's phenomenal.
We're going to be doing at the because like I was wondering, should we squeeze in like some kind of, were they coming out on Blu-ray review of some kind? But I said we're doing like an end of year best of, and I'm sure that'll be coming up quite a lot. For the categories for that. So yeah, we'll talk about them with that. But I loved it. I think it's a contender for the best movie of the year, let alone horror movie. Some really great twists and turns and just the tone of it. So much unexpected.
I think genuinely scary as well at times. Without, well, I'm not going to spoil it, mate. Just watch it and let
just
me know what you
some
think.
clever like ideas of how something would happen in real life as well, and that's all I kind of say about that. But yeah, it's great. It's like it's fun in its own way as well. So like definitely, as soon as we're done here, go down and watch it. It's great.
Drop a comment in this video and let me know what you think of it, mate, because I'd be interested to know if you enjoy it or not, because I was really, really taken with it. And there's a prequel coming out soon, so looking forward to that.
There is, and the sequel, Talk to Me.
Have they? Oh, superb.
Yeah. I should throw that in the, in the front.
I was a True Blood addict back in the day. Yeah, amazing. AHS started going downhill with Apocalypse. So I'm only up to Hotel. I need to watch after Hotel. So I haven't got to Apocalypse yet, I don't think.
Do any of them deal with vampires in American Horror Story? Coven doesn't have vampires in, does it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any vampires. Witches. Not that I've seen so far. Wow. Jack. Can't beat Fright Night. We're going to mention that in just a little bit. We're going to stay mums
about that now.
Yeah. Fuzzy, I forgot about Daywatch. I watched the original Russian version when it first came out years and years ago. That's very, very cool. Prof, at Jack, I agree. 80s horror movies make me so happy with all the creative, practical special effects. You're talking our language here, mate. I think you're talking our language. Just wrapping up, guys. Oh, Danny Boyle said he's interested in another 30 Days of Night movie. I'd be interested in that. You've never seen that, James?
30 Days of Night?
Yeah, 30 Days of Night.
I've seen that, yeah.
All right, yeah. I thought you said earlier you hadn't seen it.
No, I've seen 30 Days of Night. Manny Bennett is in it.
Yeah,
I like
it's
him,
superb. But what a fantastic concept for a vampire movie as well.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Just so
I've read the comic as well. The comic's great.
Yeah.
There's a sequel I haven't seen, though. And I mean to check that out.
There's a few. So there's I think there's about 3 or 4 movies in the kind of the
Dog Days or something like that, isn't there?
Yeah, but none of them live up to the original's the potential, really. Good stuff. So yeah, that was a nice little chat about vampires. Enjoyed that.
Blah.
Come to the end of the show, guys. But before we end, we just want to talk about our next show. So as you will know, we are online every Friday, so we'll either do a live show, and then the Friday after it is our review show, where we pre-record a show for you, where we'll look at a recent or older horror movie and give our thoughts on it. And that series is called I'll Be Right Back. We've recorded one last night, so next Friday we will be doing Fright Night.
Welcome
for real.
Nights.
So this is a movie that I watched, crikey, 25 years ago, maybe.
Shit.
So I am very old. So came back to this movie for this show, having not seen it for 25 years or so. So you'll find out whether I think it stands the test of time or not. James had never seen the movie, so it was his first introduction to it. So you'll find out if James liked it or not. Interestingly, the guy who plays Jerry, the main vampire, is going to be at Love of Horror
Chris
next
Sarandon,
week. Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing that. If you want to play along at home, guys, there's a few of you saying you can't remember this, or you haven't seen it for a while or whatever. Why not try and watch the movie before you watch our review next Friday? So you can chip in the comments and let us know what you thought of it, whether we loved it or hated it. Let us know what you think as well. Okay, anything to add, James?
No, I think that's it. And like, whether or not it's Halloween, Peter, and we just recently had Halloween.
We did, yeah.
But whether or not it's Halloween, everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Everyone's entitled